Hello, in this video I'm going to go over another fun visual build that I created for just running Overland and doing achievements and uh, having fun, essentially. So this is the second video in the series that I've done. The first one is the Raining Flame Dragon Knight based build. You don't have to be a Dragon Knight, but I'll link the video in the description of this video in case you want to see that one and have not. But this is basically a shock build that is a subclassed Sorcerer, Nightblade, and Necromancer. So those you have to be a Sorcerer base for this to work because I am wearing the Monolith of Storms set from the Infinite Archive on this build. So you do have to be a Sorcerer base class on this build. But let's get into the specifics of the build. Um, This is a magicka-based build, and I will tell you that you have to do some certain things here to make sure that you can sustain magicka on this because it is pretty difficult how it's set up, but I have implemented some things that will help with sustain quite a bit. So first of all, we'll do the attributes are obviously 64 into magicka. The champion points, as you can see here, I've got Steed's Blessing, Master Gatherer, Gifted Rider, and Warmount in the crafting green tree. The Warfare blue tree, I currently have Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Exploiter, and Thermatog. And then for the fitness red tree, it's Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Celerity, and Siphoning Spells. Um, so the Mundus that I have on is the Thief, but I would say you could also swap this out for, I believe it's the Lover that has penetration. So that's a possibility if you want to get your penetration up on the build. But just go over to the gear here. I have a Nirnhoned with a stamina glyph on a Monolith dagger and a Mad Tinkerer. That is the back bar set I'm using on here with a charged shock glyph and a Mad Tinkerer infused lightning staff on the back bar. If you don't know what Mad Tinkerer does, it gives you 2 lines of critical chance and weapon damage on the fourth one there for the 4-piece. And then when you deal damage of any kind, you summon a Fabricant that deals direct shock damage to everything in its path, and it stuns them for 2 seconds. So I'll go over a quick rotation that I kind of do with this build to kind of proc everything. And then for the monster set, I'm running Stormfist. So whenever you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to create a Thunder Fist. I did a video on this monster set as well, so I will link that video as well in the description if you want to see how that works in detail. Monolith of Storms, you get a line of critical chance and 2 lines of weapon damage, so the 2 through 4 piece is really good. And then when you deal damage with a Storm Calling ability, the initial hit and the 5th tick all create monoliths. They're little lightning, whatever you want to call them, arcs or whatever, the antenna-looking things. I'll find an enemy here in a minute to kind of demonstrate the build a little bit. But basically what this is it's the same setup that I've been doing on these fun builds where I have both 5-piece sets active on the front bar for 4 pieces anyway. So 4 pieces are always active on the build, and then the back bar is the 1 set, and then so Monolith is active on the front bar, and then Mad Tinker has 4 active on the front bar, but then when you bar swap to the back bar, there are 5 pieces active on the back bar. And of course, we have Stormfist active all times, and then I'm wearing the Velothi mythic. One thing I didn't mention in the last video with the flaming or Raining Flame video, I made all 3 pieces of Mad Tinkerer. So if you want, you can swap out, put a necklace of Mad Tinkerer on, and then if you want to wear a ring mythic, you can do that. Maybe the Pale Order ring if you're wanting to do a little bit more difficult content where you need some healing for the damage. That's helpful. But let's get into the skills. Streak is really good for overland or in content use. I was parsing with this build earlier, and you can't really use Streak on a parse. It just doesn't work well. But in content, this is really helpful because it will land one of the monoliths for you, along with the Lightning Flood. I have Mystic Siphon from the Necromancer Gravelord skill line here. This is, again, slotted for the lightning damage and the recovery, and it gives me 3% increased damage as well. And when it's activated, this will also increase my penetration with the Dismember passive. This will give me 3,271 penetration when I have a Gravelord skill active. And then also when the enemy comes below 33%, then I get an increased critical strike chance of 20%. So from the Death Knell passive as well. So those are really helpful. The spammable that I'm using here is the Shocking Soul, which is the Wield Soul skill. It has shock damage for the first skill. And then again, because I'm a sorcerer, I use the class mastery here. And I don't have any pets on this build, so what it does is it turns this into an AoE shock damage, and then it inflicts major breach. So that helps with penetration on the build. So, for example, when I pull out my archer, I'm up to 6,500. But then when I'm using the spammable, then I gain about another 6,000. So I'm almost 12,000 penetration with just those 2 things. So for the most part, I'm good on overland there. Then I'm using Mage's Wrath for the execute because it will also proc another monolith to land. Front bar, I have Soul Harvest here. This is here to proc the Assassin's passives, as well as give me ultimate when I kill things. So for example, the Master Assassin passive, this increases my critical chance when I'm flanking an enemy. This is a true passive here. You don't have to slot something to get this. Same with this. This is a true passive. The Executioner is a true passive. Pressure points. This one you have to have abilities slotted. So as you can see, I have 1. So I have an increase of critical chance of 548. And then this one also, the Hemorrhage passive, you have to have something slotted. So this is giving me critical damage passively. Again, I've done a video on the Hemorrhage passive alone to explain this, but you do not have to actually critically strike to get that extra critical damage. I'll put a link in my video in the description for that. It's the only thing that's procced when you do critical damage is the minor savagery portion, which gives you 6% more critical chance for 20 seconds. And if anybody's grouped with you, they also get that buff as well. So that's the front bar. The back bar, I have Boundless Storm to, again, give me major resolve, some major expedition, but this also will do damage and proc the monolith. You just have to bar swap to get the damage tick. Then I have the Skeletal Archer from Gravelords to give me major prophecy major brutality and sorcery. And it also does AoE shock damage. And then here is one of the first things that I do with the Mage's Shocking Contingency, the Scribed skill. This is one of the reasons I sustain pretty well on this build, is because I'm implementing minor intellect there to help my recoveries with the very bottom script. So I have shock and then the lingering torment for the middle, so that it does shock damage. Blockade of Storms obviously is going to setting concussed enemies off balance, so that'll help keep off balance up. And then Shocking Burst is the soul burst scribe skill with shock and shock damage, lingering torment. And then I'm inflicting minor magicka steel. This is really a huge debuff that helps on magicka builds. This is very, very strong because you can do damage to an enemy every second and get magicka back. So if you double that, that equates to 730, or excuse me, not 700, I'm sorry, 336 magicka per. It's equated to 336 recoveries essentially, because recoveries tick every 2 seconds. So if you double the 168 there, it's basically 336 recoveries is the equivalent of it. So you're getting pure recovery increase from the minor intellect plus a new debuff here of minor magicka steel. Those two do stack. And then my potion here is a tripod. Although if you wanted to, you could also use Essence of Spell Power, which is another good one because I don't have a line of major prophecy on here currently. So you could swap the tripod out for a spell power pot if you wanted to. If you're just doing regular overland stuff, I would say it's not necessary to run those. They're a little bit more expensive to create. So I would say not as necessary to do that. With the extra critical chance that you're going to get from the assassination hemorrhage passive, as you can see, I'm almost at 40% without it. So it's not really necessary to get that. And if you activate the siphon, then you will have savagery and prophecy there. So it's just not as easy to get that going sometimes if there's not a corpse nearby. So let's just finish off the back bar here. I have the Destro staff ultimate on the back bar just to give it a little bit more lightning AoE kind of look. Again, this is just a fun build for running around having fun. So this is not something that's going to be recommended for veteran trials or anything, but it has plenty of DPS to do normal random dungeons, probably even most veteran dungeons. I've parsed on this and gotten up into the 80s, so it's by all means not worthless. But I'll just show you. There's the Mad Tinkerer right there. The little fabricant comes out and rolls for quite a ways, and if you, as you could see there, if it hits anything, I'll see if I can get it to proc here on these guys. And it stuns them up in the air like that. And then if you do damage with a storm calling, you can see the monolith here. That's what a monolith looks like right there. There's two of them because the fifth tick triggered there. So that's what the monolith looks like. We'll see if I can get. Need to find a bigger enemy to really see if I can get the Stormfist to kick off. Apparently my DPS is too deadly. Anyway, as you can see, this is just, there's the Stormfist. There we go. So there's the three different sets that I'm running. So another thing I do is I streak through stuff to get a monolith, and then you can throw down a lightning flood to get a second rod going. And why that's important to know is when you have 3 of them linked, it does more damage. So because you've got more, it triples the damage essentially. As you can see here, each link does 4,000 damage every 2 seconds. So if you can get the damage to go up, we'll look at that now that I've got the major brutality up. There you got 4790 per tick. So if you can get that up 3 times, so I'll smack him with that, get close, get that going, and then I'll streak through. You can get 3 of them stacked up, especially on a pretty potent enemy, then you can really get some damage going up with that. I believe I've covered everything. Oh, the food I'm running. I almost forgot that. I'm running Ghastly Eyeball here because I really need recoveries on this. So if I pop a potion and I hit this to get my recoveries up with minor intellect, then we can look at, I've got 1690. Another helpful thing is if, since you've got such a good crit chance here, you could switch to the Atronach for more mag recovery, and that would help quite a bit. That's just an option, but here's a fairly decent guy to fight. So we'll just pop this down. And as you can see, then the Stormfist came out there, but it does pretty decent damage. Again, this is not recommended for vet trials, but you get the idea. This is just a fun visual build. The idea behind this build was have fun, not chase the meta, boring, same thing that everybody runs kind of thing. This is just an idea to give you guys an idea of something else to try out. Use some gear sets that you don't normally run. I've been working on a lot of achievements myself, just checking off achievements. And I thought I would start kind of working on some fun builds. So this is a shock visual build that's meant to basically lean into that style there. But I'm going to end the video here. But before I do, I'm going to ask if you liked this video, thought it was interesting at all, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I've got over 250 videos for the Elder Scrolls Online, and they are all organized by created playlists. And so if you like anything on my channel, go to my YouTube channel, go down to my created playlists, and you'll be able to see all of my organized content there. Keep an eye out for any of my new videos. Make sure you turn on your notification bell, and you'll be able to see when I upload new videos. I've been doing almost every day during the week. So keep an eye out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.